Alright, these are my credentials. Now we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about investing for a second. Alright, let's get this out of the way right from the beginning. I'm not a prospector, and I'm not a gambler. If you're here to learn about cryptocurrency, this is not the video for you. Here's the thing. I've grown up with a lot of people in my life who have given me a lot of different pieces of financial advice. Some of it, fantastic. Some of it, absolute dog shit. Whenever I was going through the very end of my senior year of high school, I decided that I wanted to get educated on personal finance. I thought that would be a really useful skill and knowledge pool to have. My high school actually required us to take a personal finance class, but it was garbage, didn't actually do anything for us. But it opened up the door to me wanting to learn more about it because of how insufficient the class was. So I started reading a lot of books. These are just a few of them that I've actually gone over. I just can't hold more than that in one hand without those. A good aesthetic or whatever. But I learned a few basic things about investing. And I might share that with you guys in another video. But today, this is just talking about my personal journey as to why I started investing and how I invest. So the reason why I started investing is because I realized that there's no guarantees in life. It's possible that tomorrow I get hit by a car on my way to work and that's it and I'm done. It's also possible that I end up living to be 100 because of medical practices increasing in efficiency over time, leading to a longer lifespan. There's also no guarantees when it comes to financial security, even with investing. There's just nothing that's ever guaranteed. The entire financial system could collapse. We just don't know for sure, you know? But what I do know is that I can't depend on other people to live. I don't plan on having kids, so I won't have somebody to guarantee provide for me after my parents die. So really my only guarantee is taking care of myself. I can't depend on the government to take care of me because I don't know what kind of benefits will even exist, if any, by the time that I'm 100 years old. You know, living in the United States, it can be like that sometimes. So I decided to take my own future into my own hands. And I decided to start investing at the age of 18. So this all kind of started whenever my great-grandmother had died. She died during my senior year of high school in 2016, before, you know, the year whenever I graduated, which was 2017. And she had gotten me something called a CD, which is a certificate of deposit, I believe is the part of it, like what that actually means. And basically, it's something you do at the bank where you put in a certain amount of money, and the bank basically matches that money to inflation or a little bit like above inflation. So you get like maybe like a little bit of interest over time, but not a lot. It's like a really safe investment, basically. You're basically holding the value of your wealth over time because inflation will decrease the value of your wealth over time if you don't do anything with it, of course. So I got like $900 from the CD after she had died because I decided to finally deposit it. And instead of doing what most people would probably do and put it towards college education or just buying like a laptop or something, I decided that I wanted to put it in investments. And I talked to my dad about this, and he helped me set up an account with an investing firm. And I was able to put it towards a target retirement date of 2065. And it basically tracks the S&P 500. It's in a Roth IRA, which in the United States, a Roth IRA is where you can put post-tax income into an account. And any interest you earn on that will not be taxed whenever you take that money out in the future. It's a really good tax advantaged account. You used to only be able to invest a max of $5,500 a year into it. They've recently increased that to $6,000 a year. That's kind of similar to a 401k, except a 401k is pre-taxed income, whereas the Roth IRA is post-tax income. So I've already paid taxes on the money that's going into it, whereas with a 401k, you haven't actually paid taxes on that money. There's a lot of dumb jargon and jumble, doesn't actually matter. Basically, he helped me get set up with this account, and I just put that money into there. Well, I also have an aunt who also did something similar. She had a CD in my name. So whenever I turned, I think it was like 18 or 19, I also got another like $400. So I actually put that money into the investment account as well. So for about a year, I only had about $1,300 in this account, and it wasn't really earning any interest. Well, I got my first, well, I guess I would consider like a serious job with a movie theater as a manager. I only worked there for 3 months. But during those 3 months, I actually started adding to the account. I think I was investing like $125 every paycheck into it. So it wasn't a lot, but I had started the process of doing that. And what led from that was creating the habit of trying to invest more. Because after I stopped working that job and I got my, what I would consider my real first job, which was working in fast food as a manager, like having like a real like adult job and investing consistently every single paycheck for over a year, I learned a lot of valuable lessons. One of the biggest ones was delayed gratification, as well as also trusting the market. So as far as delayed gratification goes, I have consistently invested about 20% of my income into my investment account since I started like seriously investing. And that's a lot of money. I don't make like a lot of money, so for me, 20% makes a big. It's like a really big deal. Like I could do a lot of things with that money. I could have already had like a really cool camera setup. I could have gotten a GPU to be able to stream a little bit easier. You know, I could probably, honestly, if I wasn't investing, I could probably live alone and be relatively comfortable living alone. But instead, I don't do any of those things, and I invest the money. The reason why is because of something called compound interest, which I know this video is already going on kind of long, and I'm not going to try to expand it way too much. But basically, I believe in this idea of compound interest, where if you put a lot of money into an investment account early on, it has a higher likelihood of growing even quicker over time, because since you have a larger initial investment, the interest rate will continue to make it grow higher and higher and higher over time. If you invest a certain amount of money at age 25 and let it grow, it'll be exponentially higher than if you invested that same amount of money at the age of 35, because you have 10 years of compound interest helping you grow it over time. So I'm being really aggressive with my investments in my 20s and maybe even my 30s. So that way in my 40s, 50s, and 60s, if needed, I don't have to. You know, if I have like a medical emergency and can't focus on like investing or 401k, or if I make it big and end up wanting to retire early, I'll have those options. And although it sucks now having to do that and having to make those sacrifices, it's better to make those sacrifices early whenever my standard of living is so much lower than having to try to adjust that standard of living later on in life. So that's the why and the how of my investments. I'd love to talk about this more in a different video. If you guys have any questions about this or any ideas for topics about this, I'd be happy to hear them down in the comments below. I want to start making personal finance more of a consistent topic on this channel, maybe every week or two, because I really do believe that's a valuable source of information to have, and I'm inspired to want to help you guys learn about it. If you guys enjoyed this kind of ramble / story time / educational video, I hope you give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, I hope you go ahead and subscribe. I do plan on making more personal finance videos in the future, and do not forget to keep it casual.